we are live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the live stream. We got a huge slate, lots of injury news. I didn't release a video earlier today because I thought that was just going to be absolutely bananas with how big this slate is and all the illness and injuries and all that stuff that's going on right now. So I was ready for this live stream because I had a feeling that 1,000 different things were going to change, and I think that's exactly where we're headed. So we'll be talking about it game by game here. We do have some news coming out. Christian Wood just got ruled out, so for those of you that were waiting on that news, we just got confirmation on that. I'm going to be doing some updates to my projections throughout the live stream, answering any questions that you guys have in the chat, talking about some game strategy, all that fun stuff. So if you enjoy the content, if you could take a second to leave a like, that would be greatly appreciated. I'm also going to be giving you guys some parlay plays, hopefully. I wasn't quite able to come up with them before the stream either because all this injury news we're waiting on. I was thinking maybe we could come up with one on the fly. If you're not familiar with the parlay play format, go ahead and check them out. Yesterday we nailed it again with another win, picking the Kevin Durant, Pascal Siakam over for parlay points. That puts our record at 4-5 for the parlay play bankroll challenge. And we've turned $10 into $60. So we have multiplied our bankroll times 6. And it's not as if our record's all that great, guys. So there's definitely some money to be had over here on Parlay Play. Definitely loving the format. Sponsor the channel. Love the format. Love the layout. Love how it's a little bit different than the everyday day-to-day grind of building lineups. So I've been having a lot of fun with it. And if you are interested, check them out. Use the promo code KJK003 when you sign up today. And you get a free $50 deposit match up to $50 when you deposit. So check them out. And let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate. I know it's absolutely crazy, but we're going to do our best to get through it. Houston taking on Cleveland is our first game. We did just get news that Christian Wood is indeed out. So with him being out, I expect Sagan to climb into the starting lineup here. He's obviously going to get a big bump up in usage and minutes as well. He's priced at 4-5 on DraftKings. And we just got confirmation that Eric Gordon's out as well. So this Houston Rockets team should be spread pretty thin. Looking at Sagan's production so far, the last 2 games, he's played 23-25 minutes. Not the most amount of minutes in the world, but his production has been very, very good. Putting up 38-30 DraftKings points. So he's once again going to be a valid value play on the slate today. You could also be looking to a KJ Martin, a David Nwaba. All of these guys certainly going to be sliding in and getting a lot more minutes with there being no Christian Wood. And for that reason, obviously, the Houston side is certainly going to provide quite a bit of value. We'll be waiting on some more news to come through. There might be some other stuff that opens up as well. But for the time being, there's certainly a team that we're going to be looking at. Trying to take a look at their depth chart overall, just kind of get an overall feel of who could be going through this rotation here tonight. Obviously, Armani Brooks, Garrison Matthews, Jayshawn Tate, KJ Martin, Daniel Tice, the starting, and then Sagan off the bench. So, I mean, Daniel Tice, Jayshawn Tate's going to be one of the best plays as far as an upside in a usage aspect as well on this side. So, he's going to be a tremendous play at only 5'8". As far as the overall total and everything, it is a 217.5, 9.5 point spread in favor of Cleveland. So, Cleveland's expected to win this game very easily, and for a good reason, because let's be honest, the entire other side is out. So, you know, they shouldn't have too difficult of a time winning this one, but there's certainly going to be some value to be had on the Houston side of things, so just keep that in mind. The Princess, so lock of the night goes to premium members, LOL. Yeah, man, I could probably give you guys a lock of the night in the Discord chat after the stream. We'll talk about it, so I don't have an official lock of the night, though. And on the Cleveland side, they're officially healthy. They have Jared Allen, Darius Garland. The usage is spread out a lot more thin. Not too sure I'm going to be getting too excited to be playing anyone on their side. Like I said, the Houston side, obviously Armani Brooks is going to have a bunch of usage as well, with this team being very depleted. So, bunch of good options on the Houston side of things. Cleveland, I'm not too sure I'm getting too intrigued to be playing anyone on their side, to be honest. Kevin Love at 4'8", Lauri Markkanen at 5'1" in the mid-range would probably be my favorite plays over here on DraftKings. I just think they're priced friendly enough to where they could certainly surpass that price tag. Lauri Markkanen continues to play quite a few minutes at 5'1", mid-20s to low 30s in minutes. Kevin Love consistently not getting that many minutes, but he can produce at a very high rate. And we've seen him do so many times, you know, putting up 36+, 40+ DraftKings points in only 20-something minutes. So Kevin Love's certainly going to be a play that you could take a risk on in your tournament lineups. Second game on the slate, we have Atlanta taking on Orlando. We got confirmation that there is indeed no Mo Bamba in this one. Looks like I might have to refresh because he's still listed as in right now on my DraftKings screen here. But we did get confirmation that Mo Bamba is out. So expect him to, obviously not play. And with that being said, that should give a bump up to some other guys on this team. Most notably Wendell Carter Jr., obviously. And then Robin Lopez, I would expect to get more run as well. So maybe he could be an intriguing value play. But obviously the biggest bump is going to be to Wendell Carter Jr. He's going to have a lot more rebounding upside with there being no Mo Bamba in there. A lot more, a lot more upside, a lot more usage, a lot more rebounding opportunity, all of that fun stuff. So Wendell Carter Jr. is certainly going to get a big bump with there being no Mo Bamba. Nightmare joining in. What's up, good bro? I scored really well with your cores. Yeah, glad you did, man. I'm glad to have you as a premium member. And you joined the KJK DFS community. We're going to look to keep it rolling tonight. So I'm glad that you were able to have a good night last night. And Wendell Carter Jr., so Nightmare, going to get a big bump up here in usage. There is no Mo Bamba. Big bump up in rebound equity as well. And you can be looking to the other guys on the Orlando starting lineup. Guys like Cole Anthony, Franz Wagner. Both going to be guys that are getting bumps up as well. As far as an overall Vegas total in this game comes in with a 223.5 over under. 8.5 point spread in favor of Atlanta. So, again, that might not quite stay close, unfortunately, but could certainly be taking a hard look at this. And then I have no issues with you going to guys at the bench either in Terrence Ross and RJ Hampton. Both guys produce at a very high rate. Both guys could possibly have a very big game here, and especially considering that it might turn into a blowout, I think that these guys could see some more runs, specifically RJ Hampton down here at 3-3. Could have a very big game if this game does indeed turn into a blowout. So he's someone that I would certainly be willing to get some exposure to in your tournament lineups. And I'd have no issues with you going to him. And Terrence Ross as well, obviously. With there being no Mo Bamba, those two guys should get a big bump up on the Atlanta side of things. They're fully healthy. Like I said, with the game expected to be blowouts, a little bit scary. Trae Young's really been performing at a high rate here. He's seen his price tag go up, unfortunately, because of it. But for good reason, he's put up 47, 55, 59, 57, 60 DraftKings points the last few times out. Really been performing at a high rate. So his price tag going up, obviously, is no surprise. If I was going to be going to someone on the Atlanta side of thing in this game, just taking a quick look at my projections as far as who grades out as a good play right now. Honestly, I'm not getting too excited about anyone on the Atlanta side of things. I mean, TLC is all the way down to 3,400, so he's someone that could surpass his price tag. But other than that, him and Cam Reddish is 3.8. So those two guys, maybe some value plays, but Cam Reddish 3.8. Looking at what he's been producing, he played 28 minutes last time out, after only playing 17. So being at only 3.8, I do think that he's pretty intriguing. And then TLC, as far as his minutes in production since the return of Cam Reddish, I think he's going to continue to kind of see his minutes go down. But he is cheaper, so if you want to go to those guys, could get a little bit of exposure, but it's not as if I'm getting really excited to be going to them. We have some other guys on the Houston side of things that we just talked about, opening up more usage. Orlando's defense has been very terrible on the season, though I will say, looking at my defensive half-court and putbacks tool, my defensive transition tool over here in my premium content, you can see that Orlando is dead last in the league, 30th overall in points per possession rank, so certainly have no issues with targeting them. On the Atlanta side, they're 25th, so there should be plenty of offense to go around in this game. Certainly going to be a friendly fantasy scoring environment. If you want to get a bunch of exposure, I would say your biggest obstacle would be if this game doesn't stay close, the Atlanta side probably going to have a difficult time getting there. So just keep that in mind. But certainly a very friendly fantasy environment. I'd be willing to get a bunch of exposure. John Collins, Clint Capella could certainly be going to those guys. If the game stays close, should have a big game. If it blows out, unfortunately, you're probably looking to some of those guys at the bench for blowout minutes that we talked about. All right, this Miami-Philadelphia game, a bunch of injuries going on here. No Jimmy Butler, no Bam Adebayo, no Ben Simmons. He hasn't been out for quite some time, but there's no Tyler Hero as well on the Miami side. That's going to open up a bunch of usage. Kyle Lowry becomes a tremendous play. Even though it's a slow-paced game, Kyle Lowry should have a bunch of usage. It's 204.5 over-under right now with a 7-point spread in favor of Philadelphia. Kyle Lowry's going to have to kind of carry the show here. It was him and Tyler Hero. Now you take out Tyler Hero out of the equation, and it's even more Kyle Lowry, so Kyle Lowry going to be a tremendous play on this slate tonight. I certainly do have some other interest in some other Miami guys. Gabe Vincent at only 4.5 on DraftKings is certainly an intriguing value play at the point guard position where there being no Tyler Hero. Playing in the mid-30s in minutes, putting up 0.78 DK points per minute. If you want to go to him, certainly think that he's a viable play. The backup center for Miami is standing out as a pretty good play as well. Omer Yurtseven at 3.3. I've got him projected for right around 20 minutes right now. If this game blows out for some reason as well, I think he could be maybe a sneakier value play that people aren't quite playing. 20 minutes last time out, he's putting up 0.99 DK points per minute on the season. Looking at the sample size, that's over 19 games, 131 minutes. So he's proven to be a very good fantasy point producer and maybe someone that not everyone's quite looking to. So I do think that he's a pretty intriguing play. And then obviously Dwayne Dedmon, the starting center, is another guy that you could be looking to on the Miami side. If this game stays close, he's obviously, option A. But if he gets in foul trouble, PJ Tucker is someone that people might want to go to. 5'3" is a scary price tag for me when it comes to PJ Tucker. He's put up 40, 34, 44 DraftKings points the last 3 times out. That's really good. But PJ Tucker, traditionally not a very good fantasy point producer. I understand he's getting forced into a role where he kind of has to be here, but it's a little bit scary for me. I'm not going to lie, to be playing PJ Tucker in the mid 5K range now. But if you want to go there, certainly no issues with it. I just, not too sure that I really wanted to make him a big priority on such a huge slate at that price tag. Might be a good fade for me. I know we're dealing with a lot of injury news. The Rockets are shorthanded. The Miami Heat are shorthanded. So if you want to go there, you're certainly not crazy. It's just a matter of, do we really want to pay 5-3 for PJ Tucker? I would say it's a little bit scary. Kyle Lowry we talked about. Obviously PJ Tucker, Dwayne Dedmon, Gabe Vincent we had brought up. Duncan Robinson's a sharpshooter. That should get a lot of minutes here. He's a little bit inconsistent, but on DraftKings where you get that 3-point bonus, certainly makes some sense to me over here specifically. And Max Struss all the way down to 3-1, certainly going to be a guy that's getting up to some more minutes as well in this particular spot, grading out as the second best play on the slate for me as far as upside at his respective price tag. So Max Struss, another guy you could certainly be looking to, and this Miami side has a lot of value to offer. Duncan Robinson we just talked about. We talked about Omar Yurtseven, the backup center. Max Struss. I think this Miami squad can certainly provide you a lot of value. You should have a lot of interest in. On the Philadelphia side, we're waiting on Joel Embiid news. If Joel Embiid is indeed out, you could be looking to an Andre Drummond, who's priced very reasonably across the industry. Only down to 4.7 on DraftKings, so he'd become a really good play. But also, if there's no Joel Embiid, obviously these other guys in the starting rotation are going to get a big bump up in usage. Tobias Harris would become one of the best plays on the slate, similar to a Kyle Lowry. They're both going to get a bunch of usage. Seth Curry, although he's a guard and he's not directly correlated with Joel Embiid, certainly going to have interest in him. I think we got confirmation that Furkan Korkmaz got ruled out as well, so that's obviously going to open up even more usage for Isaiah Joe, Shake Milton, Tyrese Maxey. So this game's going to be really slow paced, but both teams dealing with some injuries. Matisse Thybulle is expected to start. Specifically on FanDuel, is a guy that I really like to play. I don't know what his price tag is over there, but he's usually really good at it for some blocks and steals. A very good defender. So if you want to go to him. Danny Green. You get the point. Both these teams really are going to be depleted, so they're going to offer a lot of value. So certainly have no issues with you targeting them from a value aspect. LA Lakers taking on Dallas is going to be the next game that we're going to talk about here. Luka Doncic continues to be out, and that's obviously going to be a big bump up in usage for a Jalen Brunson. Kristaps Porzingis obviously going to get a big bump up in usage as well. Kristaps Porzingis priced pretty appropriately, though. I really wasn't high on him last time out. He got some extreme ownership. He went out there and put up 53, had a very solid game, for some limited time. That game turned into a blowout. He was only out there for 25 minutes, so I guess I kind of got lucky in that sense, because if he would have got some more minutes, he would have really crushed it, and he's going to be in the same spot here, taking on LA Lakers squad that has been good defensively. The LA Lakers were really solid defensively last season. They were one of the best defensive teams in the league. Looking at my defensive half-court putbacks tool, my defensive transition tool, as far as the LA Lakers and how they fared on the season, they're 15th overall, so they're right smack dab in the middle of the pack. But when you're looking at their overall grades, that's in points per possession rank. 25th overall in offensive rebound percentage rank allowed up. Half-court percentage of plays, they're 25th. They're also 26th in putbacks. So I think this is a good spot for Kristaps Porzingis. Great spot for Jalen Brunson. His price tag has been adjusted, unfortunately, though. So he might be a little bit of an easier fade than he was in previous games. So Jalen Brunson, if you want to go there, you can. It's just he was really, really cheap, an automatic log last time. It's not really looking that way now. They've adjusted. It's a little bit scary. On the Lakers side of things, Anthony Davis is listed as probable. LeBron James is listed as probable. With these guys being back, the big three, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, they're all going to be kind of cutting into each other's usage. A little bit too much for my liking, so probably not going to be looking to target too many Lakers guys tonight. It's only a 213 over-under. So yeah, I'd probably want to be getting some more exposure to the Dallas Mavericks side of things in that one. I think that makes sense. Let's see if we have any questions in the chat. Nightmare says, can you add Underdog NBA in the Discord? I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that. I bring them up on their Twitter feed when I do the live stream, so maybe that's something I can look into doing Underdog, or Nightmare, sorry. But, yeah, I don't know what you mean by that. Let me know in the Discord what you mean if you like. You want me to just tie them in, their feed in or something. But I don't typically do that. I just kind of keep that clean without any add-ons, and then I'll talk about it on the stream, and I'll send links in the Discord chat. But I'm open to suggestions to improve it, so if you want me to put something else in there, maybe I'll look into that. The Claw says, what did I miss? I just got here. We're just going over the game by game. This slate's absolutely crazy, so we're just trying to get a little bit of a feel as to where we're looking. The Lakers side of things, though, okay, so here's where we're a little conflicted. I said I'm not that interested in LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis. Then you look at the injury news. There's no Taylor Horton-Tucker, there's no Malik Monk, and there's no Dwight Howard. So, what does that mean? DeAndre Jordan should get a big bump up here. And we're also going to be looking at some other guys to get some more minutes in the LA Lakers rotation. And I think that makes the big three a little bit more viable to be playing. So I kind of got to backtrack. I'm trying to look at the questions and all that stuff. But with the Lakers being so short-handed, obviously Wayne Ellington, Avery Bradley going to be filling in. But I think LeBron, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook become more intriguing plays. Then also you could be taking a big look to Carmelo Anthony and Austin Reeves off the bench. So, yeah, those guys are going to be actually some pretty intriguing plays now with there being some injuries here. Carmelo Anthony, Austin Reeves, the Lakers being really short-handed. Those guys are really cheap as well, and they're going to be forced into playing some minutes. They're going to be forced into having some heavier usage. So I think that they're pretty intriguing plays. If no one's talking about them, if they're sneakier, maybe they're not, but just something to think about there. Giannis Antetokounmpo is out for the Milwaukee Bucks. So what does that mean? That automatically is going to make Chris Middleton, Pat Connaughton, Bobby Portis much better plays. Chris Middleton is listed as questionable, so if he's out, these guys just become even better plays. Specifically Drew Holiday and Bobby Portis would become some of the best plays on the slate. I like Bobby Portis a lot as is now that there's no Giannis Antetokounmpo. Very good fantasy point per minute producer. Should have a lot more rebounding upside. You take Giannis out of the equation. And obviously going to like him even more. There continues to be no Brook Lopez. There's no Dante DiVincenzo for the Milwaukee side. So, I mean, this, once again, dealing with injuries, you're going to want to take advantage of the guys that are getting a big bump up. Bobby Portis, Drew Holiday, obviously top two guys that are really going to stand out for me on this slate tonight. You could be taking a look to a Pat Connaughton as well. Good three-point shooter, getting a lot of minutes. No issues with that. Grayson Allen also falls into that category, and he is cheaper, so he's certainly someone that's making a lot of sense. Taking advantage of the injuries on the Milwaukee side of things. On the Indiana side of things, they're a lot more healthier. It's going to be DeMontis Sabonis, Malcolm Brogdon. They're the main candidates for the heaviest amount of usage. So if you want to go there, I want to call you crazy. It is a 216.5 over-under with a 2-point spread in favor of the Indiana Pacers. So I expect it to stay close. Have far less interest on the Indiana side, though. They're not dealing with any injuries. They're not shorthanded. We've talked about so many teams that are dealing with injuries where guys are going to get bumps up in usage. Do we really need to go to these Indiana guys? Not too sure. Karis LeVert, Miles Turner continue to grade out as good, really good upside plays for their price tags. Priced in the low 6K range, I will say. So those two guys would make the most sense to me as far as going to this game for the Indiana side. Those two guys, I certainly think, could have a huge game at that respective price tag. So those are the guys that I'd be looking to. Let's see. Colin says, Okiki a good play on DK. Yeah, you can be looking there if you want. There is no Mo Bamba now, so he's, all the way down to 3-3. I think he's a reasonable play, or 3-2, I should say. It's just a matter of is he really that good of a fantasy point producer, and looking at what he's produced so far in the season at his 3-2 price tag. Let's see here on a permanent basis for Okiki, 3-2 on my sheet here. He's putting up exactly 0.73 DK points per minute. So not exactly the best fantasy point producer, but he is only 3-2. So yeah, he's certainly a viable play. And then you look at the opponent rank, Atlanta, 27th overall against the big man position. So if you want to go there, no issues with it. So I think he's a perfectly reasonable play. New Orleans Pelicans taking on the Oklahoma City Thunders. The next game on the slate, this is a game where both teams are pretty healthy now. There is no Lou Dort, so Kenrich Williams, Trey Mann possibly getting a big bump up in their minutes compared to what they usually get. But really what that's going to do is give a lot more usage to a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a Josh Giddey. So those two guys specifically certainly going to get a big bump up, and they get a great matchup here taking on a New Orleans Pelicans team that's been terrible defensively all season long. Looking at my premium content over here, my defensive half-court putbacks tool, you can see that the New Orleans Pelicans are 26th overall in points per possession rank, 30th dead last in points per play rank in the half-court setting. So the New Orleans Pelicans have not been good defensively. These two guys getting a bump up. Going to be tremendous spots, both priced pretty reasonably here. Shai Gilgeous is priced up, but like I said, kind of for good reason. Josh Giddey, I think, continues to be underpriced, so I'd go there. Darius Bazley, Robinson Earl, both guys that are priced down here in the 4K, 3K range that I should get a decent chunk of minutes, specifically Darius Bazley. So if you want to go there, I certainly think that makes sense. Talked about Trey Mann getting a few more minutes now with there being no Lou Dort. But I think you can really lock in on those main candidates on the Oklahoma City side. The same can be said for the Pelicans. It's Brandon Ingram, it's Jonas Valanciunas, it's Josh Hart. And the more of them you play in the same lineup, the more negatively correlated they are. So I would say if you're paying up for someone, you're probably not going to want to play, too many guys. Like playing Jonas Valanciunas and Brandon Ingram in this game probably doesn't make the most sense. I have a hard time seeing them both have enough tournament upside in a 211.5 over/under game with a 4.5 point spread in favor of the Pelicans. I just don't think they're going to have enough upside to really both get there in the same lineup is what I'm saying. If you're making multiple lineups, you can certainly get exposure to both. But they are pretty negatively correlated from an upside aspect in the same lineup. And like I said, with these guys not really dealing with a lot of injuries, it becomes a lot less of a priority for us to go to this game on top of the fact that it's one of the worst game environments on the slate. When you're looking at the total, it's only 211.5 over/under. There's a lot of other games that have a higher total than that, especially as we continue to talk about some of these late games we will get to. So not too much of a priority for me. Charlotte taking on the San Antonio Spurs is going to be one of those games. It comes in with a 226 over/under. I believe that's top on the slate. It is, with a 3.5 point spread in favor of the San Antonio Spurs. Going to be a great game for fantasy points, and specifically on the San Antonio Spurs side of things. The Charlotte Hornets have been very bad defensively all season long. They're second to last in the league in points per possession rank, right next to the Orlando Magic. San Antonio have been much better defensively. They're 12th overall. But so for the San Antonio Spurs guys that are taking on this Charlotte squad, it's going to be a great matchup. Charlotte's been terrible defensively. Certainly going to want to take advantage. DeJounte Murray priced up, but for good reason. I have some interest in paying up for him. But I really have a lot of interest in these mid-range guys, and Derek White, Jakob Poeltl, both continue to produce very high rate. Both get a tremendous match. Alright guys, it looks like I had some people saying I lost you. Let me know if you can hear me now. We should be back up here. Had some technical difficulties there. It just crashed on me, so. If you can hear me, let me know. We should be good to go here. But yeah, dealing with some technical difficulties, so sorry about that. And we're going to try to move along here. I just got to get all these windows back open now because with all this craziness going on, I lost it. So I had to restart everything, boot everything back up. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. I don't know what's going on with the connection, but the stream just dropped. So let me know if you guys have any questions, but I'm going to try to get this back up and running smoothly. I'm not sure. It keeps dropping on me, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make this happen. I'm hoping that I can. But let me know if you have any questions in the chat. I'm going to try to answer them if I don't lose you guys again. And if you are seeing that I'm losing you, I apologize. I'm probably going to have to cut things short tonight. And go update all the premium projections, all that fun stuff in the chat. But it looks like everyone can hear me, so if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to try to get this back up and pick up where we were. Going game by game here. So, looking at the next one. On the DraftKings slate, we were talking about the New Orleans Pelicans, the Charlotte, San Antonio Spurs game is the next one. I do think that this is going to be a good game to be targeting. For some exposure, the Charlotte Hornets taking on the San Antonio Spurs because Charlotte's been really bad defensively, so I certainly think that targeting some Spurs guys makes sense. So I was talking about the guys in the mid-range. Jakob Poeltl, Derek White, those two guys I certainly think could surpass their expected output based upon their price tag. So I like those guys quite a bit. And certainly guys that I would be looking to tonight. Looking at the total, it does have a 226 over-under, so it's going to be a fast, up-paced game. As far as on the Charlotte side of things, they're starting to get a little bit healthier than they were before, so it's not quite as good as, you know, having all these guys out. Terry Rozier's returning, but there still is no LaMelo Ball, so that's certainly going to be interesting as far as getting some of these guys bumps up in usage. Terry Rozier being one of them, Gordon Hayward, Miles Bridges, Kelly Oubre. All those guys should get the most amount of usage that they can handle. So if you want to target them in the mid-range, no issues. Just I wouldn't expose myself too much to this team in one lineup. Minnesota taking on Denver is going to be the next game we're going to talk about. Nikola Jokic is going to be a great pay-up option on this slate tonight because this game's expected to stay close. He's the best fantasy point per minute producer in the league. 223.5 over-under with a 4.5 point spread in favor of Denver. Will Barton I thought was ruled out, but he is indeed ruled as questionable. Now he's more so probable, so he's expected to be in. Aaron Gordon listed as questionable. He's more so probable. So expect Denver to be good to go here. Should be pretty healthy, and this game should stay close. So, I mean, Nikola Jokic would be my favorite option by far. With that being said, looks like you guys can hear me. Do you look at ownership, the Prince asked? I don't look at ownership too much, man. Like, you can kind of get an idea of where ownership's going to go as is, just based upon talk you hear around the industry and some other stuff. Like if you just look at overall projections, the obvious candidates. So like, you know, for instance, when Luka Doncic is out, Jalen Brunson obviously going to get a lot of ownership. But I just lean on my projections, and if I get different naturally, just based upon playing good minutes, like NBA is the most predictable sport, quote unquote predictable. There's always crazy stuff that happens, of course, foul trouble, all that fun stuff. But you could predict how many minutes a guy's going to play on average and how many minutes or how much he produces on a permanent basis. So I like to just play lineups that I think have the most upside. The guys that have the most upside for their price tag, you'll hear me talk about that a lot. You're looking to play guys that can surpass their price tag by a large margin throughout your entire lineup. So that's my approach there. On the Minnesota side of things, D'Angelo Russell says questionable. He's been somewhat limited, but he played in the mid-30s. He participated in shoot-around, so I'd expect him to be back. That's going to certainly take a hit to an Anthony Edwards or Karl-Anthony Towns. Once again, I'd be willing to play one of this big three, but I wouldn't want to overexpose myself to that side, even though it is a good game environment. Washington taking on Sacramento is the next game that we have to talk about. Marvin Bagley was ruled out on the Sacramento side. I do think that should open up some more minutes for Harrison Barnes, Mo Harkless. Also, a guy like an Alex Len could possibly see a lot more minutes taking on his former team in Washington. A little bit of revenge narrative, I guess you could say. But more importantly, he's not going to have to battle for those minutes, so I certainly do like Alex Len as maybe a sneakier play. But I think that Terrence Davis and Maytu specifically might get some more minutes as well. Terrence Davis has seen his minutes really cut lately. Hopefully Marvin Bagley being out will maybe bring him back to some more minutes. But this is going to be a great game environment. Kyle Kuzma is expected to return, so on the Washington side of things, that's going to impact the usage a little bit on their side. I won't have nearly as much interest in a Spencer Dinwiddie as I would if he was out. But these main candidates, you know, De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton, that are playing a bunch of minutes, certainly going to be intriguing options in a fast, up-tempo game. And the same rule can be said for Bradley Beal on the other end of things. This game should just be such a good game environment that these guys should certainly hit their ceilings fairly easily in this this game environment. So certainly we'll have some interest there. John says, is Maytu a good play on DraftKings GPP? Yeah, I think he could be a good tournament play. The claw says, Sabonis, Murray, or Towns? I would go with Murray. Jokic lock of the night. Nightmare says, yeah, I like Jokic quite a bit. Bridges or Beal? The claw says, I would go with Beal. And, yeah. So, yeah. Feeling pretty good about this game. Great game environment overall. If you guys are enjoying the stream, if you could please take a second to leave a like on this stream, would be greatly appreciated. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do. It takes 2 seconds. If you're enjoying the content, greatly does help me, support my content. I put a lot of work into this on top of the other 4 jobs I have going throughout the day. So, really would greatly appreciate it. And looking forward to providing you guys with more value. That's what I'm trying to do. Help you guys out, become better NBA DFS players. I've been getting a lot of feedback from people that they've improved since listening to my content, so that's the goal. Always makes me happy. So, LA Clippers taking on the Utah Jazz is going to be another game we're talking about here. The spread's not exactly the closest here, a 9.5 point spread, not expected to stay close. not the best game environment. Paul George is listed as questionable in this one if he is out. Obviously going to be a lot more usage to go around the LA Clippers side of things. The problem is Utah's very, very good defensively. They're not a team I like to target whatsoever. They're just solid. They're the number 1 team overall defensively on my sheet, I believe. I'm pulling up here when the stream collapsed. All my sheets closed. So, defense half-court putbacks. We have... Golden State's number 1. Utah's number 5. So, Utah, number 5 in points per possession rank. Very, very good defensively. We know they're good defensively. So, we don't really want to push it too much as far as targeting them overall. But if there is indeed no Paul George, maybe a Reggie Jackson, having more interest in him, a Marcus Morris Sr., a Terrence Mann, a Luke Kennard, you could be getting a little bit of exposure to. I would tread lightly, and we did just get confirmation that Evan Mobley is out on the Cleveland side of things. So if I'm pulling up my Twitter here for you guys, trying to get it back up on the stream, but Evan Mobley being out certainly could, give you some more interest. Dean Wade's expected to start here, so... that's going to be a big bump up to Jared Allen specifically, I would say, the most out of anyone. He's not going to have to compete on the glass for those rebounds with Evan Mobley. So I think that Jared Allen gets a pretty sizable bump here. And someone that you could certainly be noting down as a much better play now. Not to mention, there's no Christian Wood. So the matchup for Jared Allen in this front court could be very, very friendly for him. So I think Jared Allen becomes one of the best center plays on the slate now. Certainly worth noting. And love to play. Let's see. Sergio Moody says, if you could lock someone other than Joker, who would it be? I don't really know how to answer that question, man. We'll round out the stream with maybe running it back to just see the guys I'm really high on. I have to update a bunch of stuff. It's a crazy slate right now. The class says Mitchell or Gobert. I'd go with Gobert there. Upside at the price tag. Patrick says, love the content. Simply the best. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate you. Would you play Brooks or Tate of Houston on DraftKings? I'd play both of them. Houston's really short-handed, man. I mean, if you have to pick one, I'd probably go with Jayshawn Tate at 5'8". He's just probably going to take on a little bit more of a high-usage responsibility. But I don't know, man. I'd play them both. I really would. So either one, if you're playing multiple lineups, if you're asking me if I had to pick one, let's see. Based upon my projections, I would go with Houston. I don't know. Houston has so many guys that grade out. Yeah, it would be Jayshawn Tate. He would get the edge in my projections. But all these guys, I mean, you can be playing. Josh Christopher's only 3-1. Pretty good fantasy point producer. He's really cheap. You can be playing on Houston. You can play Kenyon Martin Jr. on Houston. You could play Sagan on Houston. You can play a David Nwaba on Houston. It's pretty crazy. They're dealing with a lot of injuries, so all of these guys are going to be getting a lot more minutes than they typically would. So certainly all going to be viable plays, of course, if you want to go there. All right, rounding things out here, the Memphis taking on Portland game, last game on the slate as far as the overall total and everything in this one. This game comes in with a 217.5 over-under. On the Portland side of things, CJ McCollum continues to be out, so obviously Damian Lillard going to be a very high usage candidate. Certainly would have no issues with you going to him. Yusuf Nurkic played 39 minutes last time out, finally seeing his minutes not limited, so I think he's becoming someone that you're certainly going to want to get some exposure to now because he's gone from getting not too many minutes to a lot of minutes, and he's a very good fantasy point per minute producer, so Yusuf Nurkic certainly would have interest in him. Jaren Jackson Jr., Dylan Brooks, you could be having a bunch of interest in as well. 6'4", 6'3" in the mid-range. These guys getting lots of usage. Desmond Bane as well. Tyus Jones, as long as there's no John Morant. No issues with going to these guys, and Portland hasn't been exactly the best defensively, so I think this is a pretty reasonable game to be rounding the slate out with, getting some exposure to. You don't want to go too crazy from the same team, as always. Like I say, it is a little bit negatively correlated if you do that, but certainly a game that you could be getting some exposure to. Would have no issues with that whatsoever. Patrick says, is Embiid a good spend up if he is in on both websites? It's just a matter of the positional, cost of paying up for Embiid. It's the slowest paced game on the slate, man. Like, I'd probably not want to go there. It only has a 204.5 over under. So honestly, no, I don't think that Embiid is a very good pay up option. I'd much rather go to other spots on the slate. We talked about liking Jared Allen quite a bit. I'd probably rather go to him. We talked about Wendell Carter Jr. now that there's no Mo Bamba. So I think that he's a pretty intriguing option as well. We talked about Jakob Poeltl, Clint Capella, John Collins in the Atlanta side because Orlando's defense is terrible. If you want to go there, I think that these guys make quite a bit of sense. So I don't think I'd be prioritizing Embiid. The class says Gobert, Christian Wood, or Ingram. I'd go with not Christian Wood because he's not playing. I'd go with Ingram, faster paced game. What do you think about Osman since Mobley's out? I think he's a pretty decent option. I say decent because I don't know if I'd go there on this game, this big of a slate, to be honest, man. Maybe he's a bad option. Maybe I should correct my wording. It's just too big of a slate to be kind of getting cute with that. We have some really good value on the Houston side of things, so yeah. We got some craziness going on, though. I got to update my projections right now, so we'll see what the latest update is. Ask me any questions you have in the chat. Leave a like if you're enjoying the stream, guys. Don't forget to check out Parlay Play, the sponsor of the channel. Use the promo code KJK003 when you sign up today as far as how we've been doing on the Parlay Play Bankroll Challenge. I'm not too sure that I'm going to be able to give you guys a pick with all these stream difficulties and the fact that this slate is just absolutely crazy right now. But what I will say is you get a free $50 deposit match instantaneously when you sign up when using the promo code KJK003. We are 4-5 with a record of our picks right now, and we have turned $10 into $60. So what I'm really liking about the format is you don't have to be perfect. You can continue to build your bankroll. They're giving you free money. One of the best things you can do to be profitable in daily fantasy sports is take advantage of new websites that are starting and need the customer clientele, so they give really good deals. And Parlay Play is certainly one of those websites. So click on the link in the chat, guys. Check out Parlay Play. I'm going to be giving out picks every night on the channel. I don't know if I'm going to be able to tonight with all this craziness going on, so I don't know if I necessarily have an official pick for the Parlay Play Bankroll Challenge, but I certainly would be willing to help you out in the Discord chat if you are a Discord chat member. And I'm also providing some discounts all throughout the month of December to give back to you guys during the holiday season. If you weren't aware, on my Patreon content, my premium content, you can get the Discord package for only $1 all of December. I also offer premium NBA projections, all that fun stuff in my KJK DFS NBA package if you want to check that out. So that's over here on patreon.com/KJK_DFS. I'll be putting that in the chat for you guys as well. But if you check out the Discord package, you can ask me questions before lock, after lock, throughout the day. I'll be helping you guys out as much as possible. Game strategy, you know, which guys you should possibly be playing. I just put that in the chat as well. And if you're getting serious about NBA DFS, if you're playing NBA DFS every night and you really want to be a profitable player, would highly recommend the KJK DFS NBA package. It's $19.99 a month. You're going to get your return on investment very, very quickly on that. It's about $20. I can pretty much promise you we're going to be profiting a lot more than that. I give you guys my premium NBA projections, NBA data sheet, player stats, team stats, play contact stats, my core plays. That's a fan favorite. Obviously, the top guys that I'm really locking in on. And then, of course, you get access to the Discord. If you want to sign up for that, the annual option, for my annual options on all packages, I do offer 2 free months of Patreon. If you pay ahead of time for the annual option, you pay, and then I essentially just give you 2 free months of whatever package you'd like on Patreon. You just reach out to me, you message me, you tell me what you'd like to use, and I'll help you out. So I'm getting a lot of good feedback. I feel like any single person that's joined and bought this package has not regretted it. I get good feedback. Everyone's happy. They give me questions in the chat. I'm always helping out. I'm giving them core plays. I'm updating the projections. The data sheets are fantastic, giving you guys a preview as far as like what you're getting behind the scenes here. Here's one of the sheets that I offer. I'm just going to put it on the screen for free. Give you an idea of what I have to offer over here. So this is one that's, you know, maybe not as relevant as some of the other ones, but it can be used to your advantage depending upon what your strategy is in your DFS lineups. But this is a defense shooting accuracy sheet. So this is a premium content tool. I'll leave it up here on the screen for you guys to kind of take in. And so this is a perfect example of how you could determine which teams struggle the most at defending which type of shot. So, you know, you can go through each one of these and sort it. So the short, mid-range, the rim rank. So let's go ahead. Let's apply this to today's slate. Rim rank, 30th in the league overall. So who is allowing the most scoring inside from an accuracy point? The Denver Nuggets. So we go on over to the Denver Nuggets. Who are they playing today from a big man aspect? Let's see. Denver Nuggets. They're taking on the Timberwolves. So Karl Anthony Towns, Jared Vanderbilt around the rim. Guys that like to slash the rim, maybe in Anthony Edwards. You can take that information, put it into your lineups. Obviously, figure out the top plays. Let's see, for instance, who's really struggling at defending the three-pointer on the season. Overall, on the season so far, let's see, who's really struggling at defending Portland. Portland's giving up a lot of three-pointers to opposing teams. So I go on over to Memphis taking on Portland. I click on, see who's the good three-point shooters on Memphis. Who's a good three-point shooter on Memphis? Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bane, Tyus Jones. These three guys can all shoot the three ball. All good three-point shooters. And a great matchup taking on Portland. I can use those sheets to, determine which teams struggle against the three and then determine which are the best plays. I mean, it's that simple. It's color-coded. It's made simple for you guys to use. And yeah, just really trying to help out with you guys becoming better NBA DFS players. And these are the exact same tools that I use when building my own NBA DFS lineup. So these are tools that I spent a lot of time on to build for you guys that you can get at a very reasonable price tag, much cheaper than other packages across the industry. And you can sign up for the KJK DFS Discord package for only $1 all of December. Holiday discount. Looking to give back to you guys. I do appreciate all of your support. And check it out. So let's go ahead and answer some more questions here. But certainly check out the premium package, guys. It's going to be well worth the investment. Check out Parlay Play. Follow me on social media as well. At KJK_DFS on all social media platforms. I post a lot of content. My lock of the night every night on that stuff. And some other fun stuff. So, all right, let's get to the questions. The claw asks, Valanciunas Allen or Oubre Jr. for points, not price? I'd go with the Jared Allen. Let's see. Nightmare says sign up. Patrick says sign up. Yeah, 2 Patreon members. I love having you guys in the Discord. I love having you guys as premium content members, and I know that you guys are enjoying it. So thank you for your support. John says Turner, Vanderbilt, or Kevin Love DraftKings. I'd go with Turner. Self says, what's up, y'all? Trae Young or Anthony Davis on FanDuel? I'd go with Anthony Davis on FanDuel. Anthony Davis. On FanDuel, you get the 3 points for blocks and steals. Anthony Davis, a guy like an Anthony Davis is going to really have some huge upside. Taking on a Dallas front court that we're not worried about whatsoever. So I think Anthony Davis is certainly an intriguing play over there. All right, guys, I'm going to update my projections right now. Try to answer some more questions before I get out of here. This slate's some craziness, so we gotta get productive over here. Be updating the projections, updating my core plays. I'll be answering any questions in the Discord chat. If you did not join, like I said, I just put the link for all that stuff in the chat, so you can certainly climb in there. But let's see what we got here. I just want to see the biggest changes in my projections right now. And then we will talk about, we'll wrap things up here. I'll be hanging out till 6:30. And then, like I said, I got to hop over to the premium content, take care of those guys over there. If you are interested, check it out. Check out Parlay Play, all that fun stuff. We're going to be winning some money on this channel throughout the season. Giving you Parlay Play picks, giving you DraftKings picks, all of that fun stuff. So let's see, updating the projections. Let's see what we got here. And we will talk about FanDuel as well before I head out, if you guys are interested in hearing about some of the plays on FanDuel. Chris Middleton just got ruled out, so of course I'm updating these, and guess what? It's going to have to be updated again 2 seconds later because Chris Middleton's out, because that's what we do here in NBA DFS. Craziness, people. It's craziness. I'm just trying to give you guys a somewhat of an idea of where my head's at here. And guess what? There's more injury news. Chris Middleton's out. So what does that do? That's going to give a bump up to, obviously, Drew Holiday is going to become one of the best players on that team. We already talked about Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton. Both going to be viable plays on the Milwaukee side of things, so they're both going to be good plays. Drew Holiday, Bobby Portis becomes an even better play. Bobby Portis and Drew Holiday become 2 of the best plays on the slate. So I like that. Nightmare says Holiday lock. Yeah, I like him a lot. The Claw says, who's your lock of the night? I don't have a lock of the night because I didn't put out a video earlier because I knew on a 27-game slate, or whatever this is, 11-game slate with all this craziness coming on, whatever I put out just was not going to be relevant to what the end result was going to be. And here we are. here we are, people. Going crazy. So I'm updating my projections right now. Let's see what we got for an update here. I just want to see if there's any big discrepancies between what I had before. And try to answer you guys' questions all at the same time here. Alan Locke, Jokic Locke, I like both those guys. I love the madness, Patrick says. Yeah, man, it makes for some entertaining nights. I guess you could say that much. We're going crazy. Let's see. So on FanDuel, some of my top plays, Grayson Allen grades out as the best play on FanDuel on the slate now for me at only 4K. And I still got to pull up my FanDuel screen here because when the stream went down, my FanDuel screen went down. So let's try to pull this up. I got to pull up a new screen here so you guys can't see my lineup. Sneaky, sneaky. FanDuel. All right, yeah, let's talk about some FanDuel here. So Grayson Allen, I think, is a tremendous play. He's really cheap over here. He's only 4K. Now there is no, now there's no Chris Middleton, so we could see an even bigger bump up over here. He's putting up 0.75 FanDuel points per minute. I think he could surpass that price tag very easily. Another guy that's a valid play at the shooting guard position would be Max Struss at 4K. So there's two valid salary plays for you right off the bat. Miami's also very short-handed. He's grading out. That's a great value play for me over here on FanDuel as well. So I think he's a pretty reasonable guy to be looking to. Alex Len's only 4-1. We got confirmation there's no Marvin Bagley. I think he grades out as a pretty respectable play. Two guys that really stand out to me over here on FanDuel that are ridiculously underpriced are Jaren Jackson Jr. and Yusuf Nurkic. Both guys just too cheap over here on FanDuel compared to DraftKings. Jaren Jackson is only 6'4" over here on FanDuel. As far as Yusuf Nurkic is priced at 5'9". We just talked about him playing all the way up to 39 minutes last time, and now he gets to take on a Memphis team that's one of the worst defensive teams in the league. So Yusuf Nurkic on FanDuel is just kind of the definition of a lock, to be honest. So I like him a lot on FanDuel. Kyle Lowry at 7K. We talked about him being a great play now that the Miami team's completely depleted. So Kyle Lowry, I got him projected to play 38 minutes. Going to be a heavy usage guy, play a ton of minutes. So I like Kyle Lowry quite a bit over here on FanDuel. He's another guy you can be looking to. And yeah, guys, Jalen Brunson still continues to be priced pretty reasonably over here on FanDuel. He's only 6'2", so I like him. Josh Giddey at 5'8", with there being no Lou Dort. I think it's a pretty intriguing play on FanDuel. So there's some of my guys that I guess I would be focusing in on from a upside at their price tag aspect. A lot of guys I just mentioned are at the shooting guard position, though, and they're only shooting guard eligible on FanDuel, so that might cause for a little bit of issues on your end, but Yusuf Nurkic, great play at the center position. And yeah, guys, let me know if you have any questions in the chat. If you enjoyed the content, smack that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Really do greatly appreciate it. And I'll be here all NBA DFS season long. NBA DFS season long. Breaking down these NBA DFS slates. Help you guys become better NBA DFS players. Help you guys win some money night in and night out. Trying to give you guys some parlay plays of the day as well. Typically, I'm pretty good at coming up with them on the fly, but with all this injury news and crazy stuff going on and such a big slate, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can give you guys an official parlay play pick before I head out because it's crazy. But go on over here, check out the NBA tab. Let's see. What's a team? Bucks, Pacers. I know the Bucks were dealing with a lot of injuries. Chris Middleton just got ruled out, so maybe that's going to be a good spot to take advantage of. Maybe playing Drew Holiday over here, the over on him. Problem is you have to pick from the same game, and on the Indiana side, they're pretty healthy. So let's see. What's a game we're dealing with a lot of injuries? Sixers, Heat, Cavaliers, Rockets, Mavs, Lakers, Nuggets, Timberwolves, Spurs, Hornets, Blazers, Grizzlies, Kings, Wizards, Jazz, Clippers. What's a game that I would want to target? Sixers, Heat. I know we're dealing with quite a few injuries, but it's a slower paced game. We don't know if Embiid's in. Tobias Harris, maybe if Joel Embiid gets ruled out, you could take the over on the Tobias Harris parlay points and take the over on the Kyle Lowry parlay points. I'd feel pretty confident doing that. If we do get news that Joel Embiid's out, Even though it's a slower paced game, those guys would just have such high usage that it would make a lot of sense to me. But honestly, am I feeling like I can lock in a parlay play? I don't know. The Prince says too many plays, can't use them all. Yeah, you are not lying, Prince. That's what I'm saying, man. You can play so many different guys on this slate, it's ridiculous. So, if you're asking me for my picks, it's going to be a little bit difficult to narrow it down. I always try to be the guy that gives you guys, I want to give you good, solid advice as to why I'm playing guys and narrow it down. But this is crazy. So, I mean, Bobby Portis and Drew Holiday are two of the best plays on the slate. Now with Milwaukee being shorthanded, Miami, Kyle Lowry is one of the best plays on the slate. They're so shorthanded, so I like him a lot. The Houston guys, with Houston being so shorthanded, going to be great value plays. Christian Wood's out. Jayshawn Tate's going to be a great play. Armani Brooks is going to be a great play. So certainly we'll be looking at those guys. Yeah, I think that's a good start in your lineups, but it's almost 6:30. I got to get out of here. If you guys have any last-minute questions that you really want answered, please ask them in the chat now. I will answer them before I head out, but once 6:30 hits, I got to get out of here. I got to update my projections. I have to update my core plays. I got to help out my premium content members, so I got to get out of here. Check out Parlay Play, guys. Use the promo code KJK003. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat. Also, check out my premium content, patreon.com/KJK_DFS. If you are getting very serious about NBA DFS, if you'd like more help. If you like the free content I provide on the channel, such as these free streams and all this fun stuff, I can guarantee you're going to absolutely love the paid content because it's that much better. So check it out. The Claw says, Nurkic or Lowry? I don't know, man. You play on DraftKings? They're pretty close. I'd go with Nurkic. It's a faster-paced game. John says Porzingis or Bridges. I like Porzingis. There's no Luka Doncic, so he gets a big bump up in usage. Self says Drew Holiday or Darius Garland on FanDuel. Not even close. Drew Holiday. There's no Giannis. Now there's no Chris Middleton. Drew Holiday's a great play. The Claw asks Wagner or Hart. I would go with... I'd probably go with Wagner now. There's no Mo Bamba. He's going to get a big bump up in usage. But yeah, that's all from me, guys. I got to get out of here. If you enjoyed the content, hit that like button. Do greatly appreciate it. I wish you guys all the best of luck tonight. I'm going to get out of here, update my premium NBA projections, my core plays, answer questions in the Discord chat for my premium members. Got a lot to do here. Build my own lineups as well. I wish you guys all the best of luck on this slate tonight. I'm out of here. Peace.